Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Thursday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. I hope your week is treating you well, and I hope you're all doing well across the world where you may be at. Today I'm going to be talking about a local TV soap opera called EastEnders, and recently they've had a few episodes where there's been a autistic character being bullied in the show. And the autistic character is called Ollie, and he's been bullied by a character called Louie Beale. And as an autistic woman, I wanted to talk about this to you and kind of explain the storyline and what I saw happening. So basically we see Ollie, who's the autistic character, whose mum is Linda Carter, and Louie Beale is the son of Lauren Branning and Peter Beale. And so Louie was attempting to put chewing gum into Ollie's hair in the cafe and calling him a crybaby. Like, to tease an autistic person and to call him a crybaby is really quite selfish and deep-seated and mean. I think to actually take it a step further and to then attempt the chewing gum stunt is quite low, because again, that is something that autistic people do potentially face more often than their neurotypical counterparts. I think it's a shame that I'm glad that EastEnders is covering this. I'm glad that they are explaining it and showing it happening on screen. I know it's only acting, but again, this does happen in real life, everyday situations, in schools, in youth clubs, in high schools, elementary schools, across the world. This does happen every day. And to see the autistic character, Ollie, just walk off and ignore him, like, that takes guts. Like, well done. Like, that doesn't happen in real life at schools. Like, for an autistic person just to walk away like that and not say anything must have been out of fear, or must have been out of fear of retribution, and that was really well done. Like, I think that was a really good way of showing it. Again, he obviously must have been quite anxious and scared to communicate back, so again, that was the reason why he probably didn't react to, Louie bullying him. But bullying someone who is disabled should never ever be acceptable, or never ever should happen. But unfortunately, it does happen. The statistics do show that autistic people are up to 95% more likely, yes, that's 95% more likely to get bullied than their neurotypical counterparts. I think that's a big shocker, that autistic, neurodivergent, disabled people are more highly likely at risk of getting bullied, name-called, mocked, teased, beaten. It's really sad to think that we are still in that state in the 25th century, that we are still, having to put up with it and see autistic children, disabled children getting beaten and threatened and name called. It shouldn't be happening. It should be more of an understanding and acceptance of it, but unfortunately disability is still widely criticised, critiqued, bullied about. If you have a label over your head, you are more likely to be teased about it. And as an autistic neurodivergent myself, it really makes me sad that we still have to face this. We still have to go through it and experience it, and it still isn't easier to cope in this world that isn't built for us anyway. And then we see Max and Lauren, who are a father and daughter duo in the show. Max is Lauren's dad, and Max and Lauren confront Louie about hurting Ollie, and he admits then to further on in the episodes of punching him in the eye and giving Ollie a black eye. That is completely unacceptable. Like, I'm glad that Max and Lauren, the characters in the show, did confront Louie about hitting Ollie and why he did it, and he said it's because of his brother Jimmy, who also has complex needs, blindness I believe it is in the show, and needs a little bit more support and a little bit more help to daily function and survive. And it's still unacceptable that response of, oh well, it's all about Jimmy needs all the attention. Yes, I understand that Louie feels left out, isolated, a bit upset, lonely. I get that. But again, it's still not an excuse to bully a neurodivergent kid. It's just not. You just don't do it. And I'm glad that Max and Lauren did stand up to him and say, you never, ever, 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 ever pick on a child that has, disabilities and issues, that you don't pick on them, you just don't. And the fact that she went to march him round there to apologise shows how seriously Lauren and both Max were taking this issue and confronting it head on, shows that they were taking the responsibility to put a stop to it. So I'm really glad that they took that impact of it. Because you never know what a autistic child and neurodivergent child is going through. Like, they don't often speak up, they don't often have the voice to speak up or the situation to speak up. They are often made to feel silenced or worthless, or if you tell, I'm going to make it worse for you. If you go and cry baby and tell your mum and dad I've been picking on you, I'm going to make things worse for you. So therefore they have the fear aspect. They have, well, if I tell, I'm going to get worse picked on. If I tell, they're going to come for me more harder. Like, so I can understand that, because as a neurodivergent who was undiagnosed at school, who got picked on by a member of her own family and got picked on by other school bullies, I was made to feel silenced. I was made to feel like I couldn't speak out. And when I finally got the guts to speak out and speak up for myself, my dad and my parents took charge. They took action for me when I couldn't take action for myself, because it was a case of my own cousin was picking on me for nearly 3 years of my school life, and other bullies that I thought were my friends, and they were like, oh, if you go and tell Gemma, you wait till tomorrow. If you go home and complain, you wait, it's going to be so much worse for you tomorrow. Like, I would be so quiet and upset about it, not wanting to speak out in case I got more chocolate thrown at my head, in case I got more water poured over me, or in case I got hit with tree branches more often, or things like that. Like, you have that fear of starting to go, I better not tell, I better not say anything, like, if I do, I'm going to get in trouble, like, you know. So unfortunately it does happen in everyday life of the situation. And I understand that Louie seems to have had some kind of sibling rivalry issue I just brought up, and that is sad, and I want that to explore more in the show. I think to see Louie going through so much upset, loneliness, anxiety issues, I think that's the reason why he has been picking on Ollie, because it's a way of him self-coping and self-masking. So again, I don't know if there's going to be something else further in the line being dealt with that. Obviously he needs to be a bit more understanding. He has a disabled brother, as he should be stepping up and helping his disabled brother rather than using it as a reason to attack others and as a reason to bully others and get away with it. I think it's just a way of self-coping. As an autistic woman, I don't like seeing Ollie being bullied, because it brings back memories of myself being picked on, a way of me going, wow, this happened to me. Like, I was picked on, I was threatened, I was told not to say anything. I kept the peace because I didn't want the bullying to continue. I would just shut myself up and go, nope, can't say anything, not going to do anything, because if I did, I would go back the next day and it would happen all over again. I would get threats, I would get letters, I would get told, well, if you speak out, if you tell the teacher this happened, we're going to get you. So, like, I understand the threats, and you take them seriously because you think, oh no, if I tell, if I speak, if I say anything, I'm going to get what's coming, like, you know, so you don't do anything. And it wasn't until I was brave enough to actually go, no, enough's enough. Like, I spoke up. I was like, I'm being bullied, I don't know what to do, I don't want to go to school, I hate it, I hate the people, I don't want to do it anymore, I can't. And my parents were like, Gemma, come on, you've got to go back to school, you can't keep hiding, you can't keep coming home saying you're sick, that you've got a headache, that you've got tummy pain, because again, these were all reasons that I was masking. I was going to the school nurse going, I don't feel well, can you send me home, I've got a temperature, I don't feel well, I feel sick. Like, I would make up excuses to go home just to get away from the bullying. I would run out of classes going, I don't want to be there, I can't do maths, I can't do English. Oh, I would just walk out and don't care. And then the teacher would be like, why is Gemma walking out? Gemma's never like this. Like, why did Gemma do that? And I was doing it because I was being bullied. I had no choice but to walk out to stop the bullying. I had to do something to self-defend myself. So I understand what it's like to be bullied. It's not cool, it's not right, it's not okay. And please, 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 if you are being bullied, speak up, speak out, stand up, do something. Don't be quiet, don't bury it, don't sit there and put up with it, don't witness it and not say anything, because you're just as bad as the bully at that point. Speak up, stand out, do something. Go to the teacher and say, hey, this is happening, my friend's being bullied, I'm being bullied, it's not cool, I don't know what to do. Stop it before it spreads. Like, I can't explain it to you enough. Like, being the target in educational setting as well, seeing, Ollie being bullied by Louie is really quite upsetting, because you see, Ollie being timid and quiet, you see him being reserved and not speaking and not looking at Louie, like, he doesn't look at him. You see him in the episodes. Like, it's really disturbing to see that this actually still happens, and that this is something that's going to be going on and on and on and on for a long time, until we get teachers, support staff that are trained in neurodivergence, whether it's autism, OCD, epilepsy, other physical disabilities like Downs and other things that happen to be picked on because of the appearance. Also, social media is another way that this happens, because social media is another way of bullying, teasing, mocking behind an anonymous account. And this has happened to me on YouTube, on Twitter. I've had bullies say things about my appearance, or that my channel's rubbish, or that I'm the R word, or whatever, and it's not acceptable. Like, you should never ever put up with bullying, regardless if it's in school, college, work, online, offline, in family life. Like, no, put a stop to it. Like, you can't put up with it. It's not right. It's not okay. We need to speak up and stop this before it makes things worse, before there's violence involved, or whether, there's things that can be put a stop to it. Some disabled people can often struggle to communicate. This is what I noticed about Ollie in the show. The clips that I watch show that Ollie is timid, he's scared, he's not wanting to provoke a fight or a reaction. He's just like, oh, forget about it. No, if you forget about it, then the person wins. The bully who's doing it wins. The bully who is provoking it and starting it and teasing and mocking and clearly making a show of themselves is the bad person. Like, bullying is never okay, because words hurt, actions hurt. What you say runs deep. Like, it's not just ha 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 ha, oh, you're stupid, you're thick, you're a dummy, you're a crybaby. No, these words hurt, these actions hurt. Like, you don't realise the implications of your words. Like, that person goes home and will cry and be upset and anxious, and they may want to not come back to school again. They may not want to, speak about it ever again. They may not want to ever be within your circle again, because they're scared of what you're going to do. But now I've got some questions for EastEnders to see how they've been doing this. Questions I have is, about the autistic character Ollie, did they work with any actual autism charities, autistic people, their parents and carers? Did they work with any autism advocates, child charities, bullying charities? How long did they prepare for each of these episodes? And have they worked with any SEN or disability teachers? So, yeah, please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. I would really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!